In MAFA 21, we talk about the fact that this eugenics thing, which eventually led to the legalization of abortion. And by the way, in MAFA 21, we talk about how it happened in steps, right? And the latest step is legalization of abortion. Let me tell you what the next two steps are. Okay. The next two steps are government-funded abortion, and the one after that is government-forced abortion. Those are the next two steps in this process if we don't stop it. Right. Now, we talk about all these ultra-wealthy people, and we talk about the Rockefellers and the Carnegies and the Fords and those kind of people that were eugenicists and funded this thing. And people have this tendency to think, well, that was then and this is now. You know, that was the 20s and the 30s and the 40s and maybe up until the 50s and 60s. Think again. Warren Buffett has started an organization now, and here was an article that was in the Dallas paper just a few weeks ago. He started an organization now to get billionaires to give significant percentage of their wealth into a fund that he's created. He says he is going to raise $600 billion. Now, he started it out by putting $46 billion, no, we're talking about billion, not million, with a B, $46 billion into it himself. Now he's gotten Bill and Melinda Gates, which is no surprise. They've been in the eugenics movement forever. They started Microsoft. They've given billions. Ted Turner, T. Boone Pickens. I would have never thought T. Boone Pickens would become part of this.
My husband's heart is broken, I bet.
T. Boone Pickens is in this deal. George Soros,
the billionaire club.
Ted Turner. They're all committing to this. They're all committing to give at least half their wealth into this fund. A big part of this fund is going to be used, by their own admission, for population control, birth control, and abortion. Currently, there was an article in the New York Times, we have a copy of that here as well somewhere, New York Times a few weeks ago, by a woman named Emily Brazelton, who's a slobbering pro-abort, just championing this guy. And it was revealed in there that Warren Buffett is already, today as we speak, giving $150 million a year to the University of California at San Francisco to recruit and train abortionists.
Oh my gosh.
$150 million a year.
But here's how they get that $150 million a year. You know, we talk about billions versus millions.
Right.
Well, what Warren Buffett did is donate $2 billion into a trust fund. And then the interest that they raise off of this is $150 million a year that has no fundraising costs associated with it. So it's just pure profit that gets pumped into the Fellowship of Pro-Choice Physicians. I don't think the entire pro-life movement raises $150 million a year.
No way.
But that's
if the amount. I want to start getting some.
No, the entire movement doesn't get $150 million a year, but off of $2 billion, just two, they're able to generate $150 million a year. And he's talking about raising $600 billion.
You know, I was telling my daughter the other day, I said, you know, she's 20 years old, and I said, you know, when you hear these numbers that we hear talked about around like about the budget, $1 billion and $20 billion and $1 trillion, it's hard for you to keep that in perspective. It's easy to lose. $1 billion is 1,000 million. So what he's talking about doing is putting a trust fund here with $600,000 million, right? Think about that.
I can't even.
With that sort of money, you can buy cities, newspapers, politicians, countries, islands.
Here's the problem. And they're admitting the large part of it is going into this population control. These are eugenicists.
Yes.
That's what they are. These are the people that took over for Rockefeller and Carnegie and all the rest of them. But think about this, Troy. You said what they can buy. There are 535 members of Congress. They could put $1 billion in $1 billion, into each race, and still have $65 billion left. They would own the United States Congress. With $1 billion, you can get Felix the Cat elected to the Senate, and we'd be better off with Felix the Cat versus some of the people that are there.
Barack Obama spend anywhere near $1 billion to get elected
as president,
and he was the most expensive president to date.
Right. So this is an extraordinarily dangerous situation. And what bothers me, Troy, and you and I have had some long conversations about this, and I've talked to Johnny about this. Much of the pro-life movement is not even paying attention to this.
Right.
Right now, we can fight this. If they get this fund put together and it starts getting put into the system, once it starts working its way through the system, I'm not sure we can.
Right.
You know, and I was talking to a guy the other day about this, and he said, well, you're talking about a David and Goliath situation here. And I said, yeah, but let's remember, David won.
David won.
Right. And what we need to keep in mind here, with it, because this looks overwhelming sometimes. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I was on a radio program talking about it, and this woman called me back after the show. And she said, Mr. Crutcher, if what you're saying is true, if they're doing this, we're done. I said, no. You can't take that attitude. I said, first off, God promised us if we storm the gates of hell, gates of hell would not prevail against us, right? This is the gates of hell.
It is.
If the abortion industry is not the gates of hell.
God's bigger than all that.
And I told this woman, I said, let me tell you something. And she laughed at it, but it's true. I said, God is not up in heaven pacing back and forth, wringing his hands, saying, what am I going to do? Right. He's not impressed by $600 billion. We may be. I'm real impressed by it. But God is not worried about it. And what this means is that we just have to redouble our efforts. And we have to keep working at this and fight these people. But if you watch my Alpha 21 and you see this as a historical document and say, oh, this is interesting, but this all happened years ago, and it's, no. It's happening right now. These are the people right here. T. Boone Pickens, Warren Buffett, George Soros, Bill and Melinda Gates. These are the people that when the Rockefellers and the Carnegies and the Fords died out, they
taking their place.
They took them.
And
they
a
took
little
over.
caveat on that too, because it's back then they were real heavy on eugenics and the feeble-minded, et cetera, and the purity of the races. There's just a little tweak to that. It's this green perspective.
Oh yeah, right.
The greenest thing you can do is to kill your child, to sterilize yourself, and not have any children. And all these people are greennicks.
Right.
Ted Turner, Gates, etc. And so what they're going to do is they're going to present the same eugenic package in with just a bow, with sugar coating.
Right.
And they're going to say, we need to save the planet. And we need to do that by killing more kids. And a lot of people are going to be buying it. They could buy the Animal Planet. They can buy Discovery Channel and just present this whole thing in a more palatable situation, like you said.
Well, remember we had a few shows back, some people from England who were saying that we have a responsibility to abort children to save the planet. Smaller carbon footprint.
Yeah. Young women are now sterilizing themselves and getting tattoos of the green planet and saying, look, I'm the greenest person on the earth.
And these guys are going to be paying for it. And let me tell you what is going to, I talked to them earlier, Johnny, I said that the next step after the legalization of abortion was the government funding of abortion, and then the step after that would be the forced abortion. You think that there's not a chance that these people would create free abortion clinics?
Oh, I know they would. The thing about Bill and Melinda is, and they need to be aware of this, they can go ahead and put money in there if they want to. But Bill and Melinda, they are literally not going to be the gates of heaven. They are the gates of hell.
All right. That's right.
Literally. And I guarantee you, we will prevail. Right. I'm having an Elijah moment here today. Right. I'm serious. They have no clue of what my Alpha 21 is quite capable of doing.
But all I wanted, Johnny, the reason I talked to you about this the other day, we needed to bring this up because I'm seeing out there pro-life, pro-family groups that aren't even paying attention to this.
I didn't know it.
And
I knew he was starting this fund, but I didn't know what the
ramifications of it.
Given
I think we have this situation now, this window of opportunity. We've been made aware of this, and we have this unique opportunity to fight this and win. But at some point in the future, it'll be game over if we don't step up to the plate.
Everything is timing is everything.
It's a call to arms right now.
Right now.
Yes.
We got to fight these people, and we got to fight them everywhere, in the streets.
Clinics are closing. Abortionists are on trial. They're on the run. We're winning the day, but we've got to press this all the way to victory. Otherwise, it's going to be done.
Troy, what you just got through saying is exactly what Warren Buffett said about the reason that he's given $150 million a year to the University of California at San Francisco.
That's that whole New York Times article.
Right.
They think they're losing, and
they've got losing,
and so they're pumping billions of dollars into the movement.
Right.
And I think we got to let it be wasted money.
Absolutely. Let them waste it.
Right down the rat hole.
We've got to fight these people, but it's not going to happen by whistling past the graveyard and acting like this is no big deal or just ignoring it. We've got to, this is, you know what this is really, Troy? This is a call for us to take on a sense of urgency.
Yes.
And you know, we've lacked that in the pro-life movement for years. We've all talked about that before, that there's no sense of urgency anymore in the pro-life movement. The fire in the belly's gone. If this doesn't put the fire back in your belly, then you need to go on and do something else because, you know, it's the old thing, lead, follow, or get the hell out of the way.
Right.
This is the message right here that we need to take from this. It's time to lead, follow, or get out of the way. Because if we wait till this money, like I said a moment ago, if we wait till this money is working its way through the system, it may be too late for us. Right now we can fight it. We are winning to fight it. You know, we've been fighting this $150 million a year that he's putting into this fund out there in California, and we didn't even know about it.
Right.
I didn't know about it until this thing came out in the New York Times that he was actually doing that. So God is revealing this stuff to us for a reason. Yes. It just didn't just happen, but we can't ignore it, and that's the thing that bothers me. Anyway, great show, you guys. Thanks.